Guys, this is Erica here with the Strength of Tarot. Just doing the reading for King Henry VIII and his this reading isn't really so much on King Henry VIII. I might do that, but right now we're just gonna focus on the 6 wives that he had. Now, it took me a while to prepare for this reading, only because channeling these women, it's 6 different women, okay? And picking up on the energy and then, connecting to the guides. So this is going to be an interesting reading. Hey, boom, boom. And I kind of figured out how I want to kind of break it down, how much cards I want to do for each wife. But I feel like I want to get more information from them, spiritually, and see if they have any advice for us living in the world today. Obviously, today is a very different day than when these queens, okay, because I will call them queens out of the respect of they were his wives. Obviously, times have changed, so we'll just try to see if we can get messages coming through from them. I know that there's one in particular, and I haven't really figured out which one. I don't know. I do feel like all their spirits are at rest. Maybe there's one whose spirit is not at rest. So a little bit nervous to do it, but at the same time, I think I'm ready. So bear with me, y'all. Now I saged the room, the space, the cards. So we are doing this in the name of peace. We do not want, any bad residual energy or anything from this reading, okay? So here we go. I guess I should name them all. You said, oh, no, we're good. I don't think she's mad at us, so we're good. I should just say the 6 wives. Okay, so there was Catherine of Aragon, which actually she was an original princess before. Is it of Spain? I don't remember exactly where she was rule of. And originally she was actually supposed to marry King Henry VIII's brother. And I that didn't happen. I feel like King Henry VIII, his family was very sickly, okay? I feel like his brother passed away, and that just did not go that way. Because I don't think King Henry VIII was supposed to be the king. I feel like he was next in line. You know how they do it. When someone passes away, they next in line. The next born male of the royal family. Okay, so Catherine of Aragon was kind of one of those marriages. It was meant for political reasons. It was meant to serve England at that time, and the king at that time. Now, his second wife, Anne Boleyn, which I guess she's really the most interesting one. She's, her death kind of brought on, a huge change for the politics and the Kingdom of England. So her death does play a huge significant role. Not only is she one of the most biggest queens that Henry was with, she's also Queen Elizabeth's mother. So she is Anne is a big deal, obviously. Now back with Jane Seymour, what made her so special for the king. King Henry really loved Jane Seymour. He was really in love with her. So, and I can feel out of all the queens, he had this big connection with her than he did any of them. It was really truly about love. It was passion. It was all of that. So, Jane Seymour, even though she didn't get to be queen for that long, due to complications after giving childbirth, she did pass away. So she bled to death, which was common in those days. So yeah. But that was his true love. That is who is buried next to King Henry. And I feel like if we're going to the other side, he is surrounded by at least 4 of his wives. So, she's like the one of them that he is surrounded by. Okay, so Anne of Cleves would be next, and she's actually known as the king's sister. Their marriage was very short. It was annulled due to the fact that King Henry didn't feel a connection with her. But she wasn't a princess. She was not, she was just let's say she was, I'm trying to remember my history, you guys. Give me a sec. Just someone's daughter. I want to say like a, I'm going to say diplomat or whatever. I guess in today that would be what he was. Daughter. So yeah, that was for political reasons too, or politic reasons too. No. And the next one, number 5, was Catherine Howard, which is actually the cousin of Anne Boleyn. Okay, I don't know if she's, I think she might be second cousin. I don't feel like first cousins. I feel like they're second cousins or something like that. But yes, she was the cousin of Anne Boleyn. She was the youngest wife to King Henry VIII. She was the one that was known for committing treason, for cheating, or having multiple lovers. Okay, now I don't think it was played out that way. I think that she was totally innocent, and we'll get into all of that when we connect to her. But Catherine Howard was the youngest of all his wives. Okay, moving on to number 6, last but not least, is Catherine of Parr. Catherine of Parr was Henry's last wife. She was the one that was there, married to him, and on the throne with him when he passed away, when he got sick. So, she does play a significant role in the fact that I feel like after Henry passed, when I pick up on her energy, she did a lot to keep everyone together, not just, because I don't know, I think they had children, maybe a son or something, but I feel like she kept all of the wives' kids and all of Henry's kids together, okay? And she kind of kept like that family unit. She was just like that type of person that really cherished family, regardless of how it, because, you know, in those times it was not uncommon for, you know, people to be cousins, second cousins, and end up in the same, you know, with kids, you know? So I feel like she kept the family and the children together, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look and we're going to see what really happened also, because I know everyone has in their mind like, oh yeah, King Henry was this, but let's get it from their view. Let's see from their view. All right. And then if you want to in the comments, you can put who is your favorite queen, or who did you know, respect or like, or their message. What did you like what they have to say? So let's see what they have to say. And we're going to start with the first wife, Catherine of Aragon. If I say anything wrong, you guys, I do apologize. You guys can correct me. But I think it's Catherine of Aragon. Aragon, yeah. Another thing about her that, Catherine, that I felt was really unique was the fact that her name, out of all the Catherines, because, you know, he has 3 Catherines, hers is the only one that's spelled, I mean, they're all 3 spelled differently, so that's really interesting, right? But hers is spelled with a C, so I don't think it matters, but... Ooh, okay. Bear with me because I feel her. I hope this is her. I think this is her. I'm connected to her residual energy really quite quickly, because I have been, you know, channeling it for the last week and a half. So, Aragon, here we go. This is her, guys. She's showing up as the Queen of Wands. So we got the Ten of Pentacles. And then the Page of Cups here. And we're going to take all three of these. But while I take all three of these, I'm going to pull out my Oracle deck because I want to see... Hi, Bridget. I'm good. How are you, sweetie? I kind of want to see what the relationship was on their, on their part to King Henry. Like, how they really felt about him. How he felt about them, truly. Because just because it says in the history books, history books never tell the truth. I just want to see. And if you guys have any questions about a specific, one of the wives, if you want to ask a question, if you think of anything, no here. Wow. That's a lot I'm getting here about her. Because, I mean, obviously I see... But she did have a... Okay, so what I hear from Catherine, she did have a... she did move on. She did remarry, I think. Well, I feel like she remarried, or she had... Good, Bridget. Someone in her energy. Yeah, I do think she had someone after King Henry. But I don't feel like she ever really loved anyone. And when I say love, I don't feel like she loved anyone. I think she really did love Henry the 8th, you guys. I really feel like she loved him. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like she did put up a fight to stay in this marriage, okay? I feel like she tried to stop it from being annulled. She did not feel like it was fair. I see that because what she really wanted, though, was the... and this is not saying she wanted money. I feel like this is saying she wanted him and her to be more successful as far as oh, I'm not doing readings, Bridget, love. Sorry. She wanted them to be more successful. What she thought is that he threw away the success that they could have had, or that she could have had. Okay? I do feel like, oh no, you're okay. She wanted an apology because she kind of felt discarded. And I do feel like she kind of, in a way, had like this, and I don't want to say cockiness, but I feel like it's cockiness. Like, she had this attitude of, why would he... just upset. Why would he do this? Okay. For such a girl. Because at the time, Anne Boleyn was actually her maid, like her maid in waiting or something. Like, she used to serve with... Anne Boleyn used to serve her, okay? I feel like Anne Boleyn... And I don't really know why it's coming up this way. Because you know how people say, Anne Boleyn knew what she was doing. Okay, she had, it wasn't like she was innocent. But let's see what we have coming up here. Yeah, okay, and Henry went that way. Yeah, she just felt like it was unfair for her. And then it was an embarrassment, I think, a little bit too. I feel like she just felt a lot of shame from, and she was offered, a new commitment here. And I feel like this was something more balanced. This was something more equal. This is something that brought her more happiness. And she finally was out of the third party situation. So she was able to, she was able to live in peace. She found someone who really loved her. Now, I do think whoever she was dealing with wasn't faithful either, but I guess this is kind of what I'm feeling like, is this is what a queen has to deal with here. And I feel like for her, she was okay after, as long as her title wasn't stripped away, if that makes any sense. So here we have unrequited love, and I pulled this out on her relationship with Henry. And then I have engagement. So I just feel like she got into a position where she couldn't get it back with Henry. Like, Henry's attention was solely on Anne Boleyn. And I also feel like Anne Boleyn was playing a little bit of a game with Henry, you know, to get that title. Okay, it wasn't just like, it was kind of really snakish. I didn't want to believe that of Anne Boleyn, but I guess that's really what happened here. I do think that, okay, there's something that she's telling me, that she was very frail a lot. She was very sick a lot. While she was with Henry, she was sick a lot. And I mean, she would get better, but she would have like long periods of just being really sick where she couldn't, okay, so what I'm getting is she couldn't, I'm sorry this is all over because I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to understand what she's feeling here. She feels like if she wouldn't have gotten so sick so much, okay, because she would get sick, and I don't know what she had. I feel like she would be very feverish, you know, just like flu symptoms, but it wasn't, it could have been the flu. I feel like it was an actual condition that she was dealing with here. And so she feels like this got in the way of her relationship with King Henry VIII anyways, because when she would be sick, that's when other maids would grab his attention, okay? She, you know, there was times like he would have to be on the throne by himself. She would not be there when she was supposed to be there, but she couldn't because she was just that sick. Okay, I do feel like she's had the time that she's needed. I feel like she has definitely crossed over, obviously. And I feel like she's kind of at peace. And now she understands kind of more what happened in the situation, that to the point that, yeah, she would have liked an apology. And apologize to her for, you know, the loss of the success, you know, what she wanted with him, because I do feel like there was a sense of love for her, for him. And before Anne Boleyn and all that happened and that mess, you know, her and King Henry VIII were together for a while. So the only thing is there was a huge age difference. I feel like there was just that. And that's why she's saying her health played a huge toll on why he was seeing maids and sleeping with, you know, because when she got with King Henry, he was a young man. He was not, you know, as he hadn't changed yet, okay? You know, the being king hadn't gotten to his head, okay? So that's what I feel like she's saying here. So let's get a message from her. I just want to get a message from her of what she really wants to say. Well, and now, but I feel like she struggled a lot with her health. Okay, whatever this condition, and maybe you guys can look it up for me. She had a condition, you guys, that made her very sickly. She was very sickly. But at those times, well, she did, okay, so what she's saying is she could have been a better mother if it wasn't for the fact that she was sick. But, you know, being in royalty, being, you know, her title, she would always have someone there to take care of her, her and her children. Now I know she did have a child with King Henry VIII, because she's bringing up that she lost a child. She lost a child with King Henry VIII. And see, this keeps coming up that she's sick. Okay, so she was very, very sick. But I know she had more. I don't know how many children she had. She had cancer. Okay, because I feel like when she was with King Henry, did she even know she had cancer? Did she even know what was going on with her? I know she knew she was sick. I feel like I said, like symptoms of the flu where she would have to throw up. She would be really struggling. I don't know. I feel like they didn't really know what was going on with her until later down the line, What's your message for everybody? Wow. Because look at this, you guys. This is crazy. We have spiritual protection. She's telling me about the other wives. Spiritual path. Okay, so that's why. Okay. There's the wellness card. And then I have balancing masculine and feminine energy. So what I really feel like she's saying, you guys, really, is this is something she had a hard time with. She struggled with. And what I'm getting is what she wants to say is make sure that you are healthy, balanced, take care of yourself. And it's not like she didn't take care of herself, but at those times, the stuff that their environment, the stuff that they would be around, not good. Not good. It contributed to a lot of her illnesses, okay? Her illness, okay? But she's saying when we're ascending to the other side here, it's very important to focus on your spiritual, even when you're living. I guess I shouldn't even say once you're, but focus on your spiritual path. Spiritually, I don't know why this is coming up for her, but this is what she wants people to know, because sometimes we can get so busy. Okay, we can get so busy that we don't take care of and do what's right for ourselves. And I also feel like she's more saying this towards your energy, like balance your masculine, your feminine. Make sure that you are following your spiritual path, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters here. If you do that, you will be well when you ascend and you cross over to the other side. Don't let this world distract you to the point, or busy times, busy situations, distract you from your spiritual path. Getting some type of spiritual protection, because that is a big thing for her. I don't know why that's coming up for her, because I don't know what her journey was when she went to that side. And and I know it's probably different for every soul, okay? But I do feel like she keeps saying, if you do that, you will be okay, you will be well. Don't let distractions and people around you distract your mind from your spiritual path here. Take care of your energy. Take care of your soul. Okay? So that's really her message that I'm getting. Because I feel like maybe she wishes she would have done that more. So I'm sorry. All right. So that was Catherine of Aragon. Does anyone have any questions about that? Any feelings, thoughts? That's an interesting message. It's not what I was expecting there. So, hey, Phyllis. Hey, Elizabeth. So if you guys give me a second, because I'm connecting to 6 different energies that are from a long time ago. So I'm going to try to breathe. I guess this is kind of what I wanted to do. It's interesting. Um, amongst other things that are, you know, going on. It's always good to look at history, you know? Right. Woo! Okay, so we're gonna move into Anne Boleyn, which is for some reason like my least favorite one because automatically when I connect to her, my head is hurting right here. So give me a sec. Catherine of Aragon, I does not like Anne. So I can get her energy away very quick as soon as as soon as I was like trying to connect to Anne. I keep hearing a screaming though. All right. Oof. Very loud scream. I just heard like this loud scream. I don't know the one that got beheaded. Yeah, she did get beheaded. But I feel like she's trying to tell me something that she went. Yeah, okay, so let's just get this clear. In case if anyone was wondering. Because I was wondering if she really did cheat, you know, get Henry to cheat. Okay, yeah, it was a third party situation. Yeah, she did trick her way in. Okay. That was more me because I was like, no, do you really think she meant to do what she did? Oh, she did. Maya, come here. Come to Auntie. Go take to Auntie. Take baby to Auntie so Auntie can put new clothes on baby. Come on. I don't really want you in here. Yeah, third party. This is a third party. So Catherine's here. I do not want to connect to Henry. I'm not doing that. Oof, no. Not right now. Because I feel like if I get like all these energies, these residual. Ugh, no. Okay. So give me a sec, you guys, because I want to just make sure that they can respect my boundaries. I got to make sure that they, as spirits, okay, because I'm getting Anne Boleyn's spirit. I don't know if she's still haunting the castle, if y'all want to look something up, but I feel like she has, woo, she has a lot going on. Like, even presently, like, physically in this world today, like, I don't know what she's got going on. She's still haunting spirit, okay? I mean, they're all spirits, but you know what I mean? Like, she may be physically, people have physically saw her today, okay? Hey, Jenny, so let's see what, this just keeps, I just put this in the middle and it comes out. Okay, so we'll take it. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so here's her story. Okay. The good news is she's at peace, believe it or not, but I feel like what she's taking me through is what it took for her to get over this. Which it did not happen in her present living here, okay? Like, her life was cut short, and there's a sense of a lot of regrets. So let's see what really is going her, because she is talking about her child. I think that Elizabeth may be around her, or she has seen Elizabeth, or she's kept an eye, watched her when she was living, and that brought her a sense of happiness, okay? But at the end of the day, there's this deep sorrow, this deep pain that is pretty bad. It feels bad. I don't want to lie to you guys and say, oh yeah, she's good. I don't know if she's good, you guys. I think she's trying to say she is, or she's getting... Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, her message is coming up in her cards to how she feels towards Henry. So I was wondering if I could get her to say she would love to talk to Henry. She wanted to talk to Henry before, um, like she wishes she could heal the issues. She wished she could have healed the issues between them. Um, I feel like she didn't love Henry, you guys. This is what I'm gonna say. I don't think she loved him. I think she just loved, you know, the fact of the power of being queen and to get her family's name. I think she did a lot for her family, okay? That's what I'm gonna say. She did a lot for her family. I also do sense that she had another lover probably at another time. I don't feel like, yeah, no, she wasn't cheating. But I do feel like she had another lover, okay? Or she was in love with someone else. She was in love with his brother. Okay. So let's see what we have coming up. I don't know anything about that. But we'll see what she says. Because I do feel like she was in love. I don't know. I'm not hearing that. I know she had a brother, but I don't think she was in love with him like that. So I'm getting her message to everybody. Because her message is completely different. Which I wouldn't expect their messages to be the same. But, she misses her child. I don't know why that's coming up that way. She's missing her child, you guys, okay? Her child. Ooh, she really wants to communicate. Okay, so let's go into this. Let's go into what is going on here. She had a child with his brother. But this here Pentacles, and you guys already know what this is. This is talking about the fact. But okay, you guys, I feel like she loved Henry. I don't feel like she did this for that. I feel like she did this because of title, power, control, family name. I don't know if she had a man directing her or someone telling her that this is what she had to do. I feel like that could have been the case here. I feel like she wanted somebody else, but I also have the Emperor here with that Ten of Swords. And I feel like the Emperor is also symbolism for King Henry VIII here. That he hurt her. The whole marriage hurt her. Obviously, it killed her. But I mean, we know that. What are you trying to say about? I gotta see what she's trying to say about Henry here. She's trying to say something about Henry here. I'm hearing a word and I don't know this word. Hold on, give me a sec. Starts with a P. Okay. She's talking about Henry was not very nice to her during their marriage anyways. I feel like she tried to move their marriage into a better, happier place. And you have to understand that women didn't have control here. She keeps on talking about that. There honestly could have been, she could have cheated on him. No, he cheated on her. Well, there was a lot of this Seven of Swords here. sneaky shadiness, lying, cheating in between both of them. And in between both of them, she put on a facade that she wanted Henry and she really didn't, but she was just doing what someone, told her she needed to do in order to gain that power, that control over a situation. I don't feel like someone told her to get with the king. I feel like that was by chance. She caught his eye. Now, there's something about the sister. She's talking about her sister. What was her sister's name? Did it start with a P? Okay, because she's talking about the children. Henry still... Okay, so I don't know if this... Who knows anything about this? But, okay, Henry slept with the sister. Well, I feel like she's saying, yeah, like he liked her sister at the end of it all. I don't know if this is something he said to her, but I feel like she tried to move them into a better way. She does miss her child, but he left her out in the cold. Obviously, she lost more than she gained from this whole marriage. I mean, she ended up hurt. She ended up dead, okay? This is literally her saying dead. And then before I did that, and I would clarify that card, I'm sure death would come out with that card. If I could do it. There's a lot of air energy in her reading, so I think she could have been an air sign. I don't know if that's relevant. Or a water sign. She could have been a water or a... Maybe not. I don't know. But I have a lot of water and air here. And there's something that keeps coming up about a child, an ex. Okay, I feel like she could have had a child. Or she was upset because she couldn't have a child. She lost a child. Okay, so... She lost a child. She lost her son. She lost a son. Before she had Elizabeth, or if it was after Elizabeth, I'm not really sure. She lost a son. She does think about her children, okay? I want to say what I'm getting is she had 2 children that were legitimate, okay? Even though that was this third-party situation, because you remember that comes up, but I feel like that never went away, even when she got with... Henry was kind of, in a way, a kind of a hoe bag. Now, there was at one point that this situation could have been resolved. It could have gotten better. And I feel like it was up to Henry. And Henry didn't really know what to do. I do feel like a sense of he felt bad. But at the same time, he felt like she betrayed him. He felt like she did him wrong here. She tried to have a kid with someone. I don't know if she had a kid with someone. I don't know what she did. I'm feeling confused because I feel like that's a lot going on with her. She's upset, okay? And when they're upset, it's sometimes it's just like a bunch of static when they're that upset, okay? At least she's not like affecting the live chat, because that would be scary. I'm trying to pick up anything else that I can possibly get. Does anyone have a question? I don't know if she slept with someone that she's saying she really did not commit treason. Okay. But in Henry's eyes, yeah, she really did not do that. That was made up. That was not true. That's why she was worried about this. She was actually worried that people believe this. And obviously this is why she got in trouble. But that, she is telling me very clearly that that was not the case, that this is something that was made up. Someone started that. Someone told Henry or put this in Henry's mind. Now, I don't know if Henry was seeing another female. But I have a third party here who got involved, and this person, okay, which was good. They could have came up with a resolution to all of the I do feel like she opened up, okay, because now I'm getting like the whole story here. I feel like she told Henry VIII, like the truth, like, be careful who you trust. I feel like she was very, very honest and open with him after a while going into the marriage here. And I feel like they got to a point where they were at peace with each other, with everything. I feel like they had like this new, understanding and respect for one another. But somebody came in, and it was a male. Okay, a lot of the stuff that went down that was snakish was because of other men, a lot of jealousy, a lot of hate, but mostly everyone who was close to the king, because the king believed one man over every, like there's this man, and this was like a period of time. Okay, and Anne did not get along with this man. I feel like she thought that he was, and he didn't have Henry's back. He was a snake. But it left Henry confused on that whole like new beginning between him and Anne. Like, instead of this going to a better place, it moved backwards because someone told him that she was trying to get pregnant or she was having an affair. And yeah, when you say incest, yeah, but I don't feel like it happened. I feel like the people that were blamed, because I feel like another man was blamed and was totally innocent in this case. The guilt was that they spent time together, okay? And I don't feel like, she's not telling me names specifically. She's just saying my children, Henry, listen to the wrong people. Because I have healthy communication and relationships. And if I have to say her message here is love yourself first and then get that abundance. And it's like, once you love yourself first, she feels like Henry didn't, and I mean, maybe on her part a little bit, but not, I don't feel really. I feel like she had a lot more self-control. I think she could read people really well too. I'm not sure she was like, she could read people really, really well. And that's why she was a threat, okay? Because I feel like Henry would go to her. He trusted her to see, people's bad behavior, right? But even though, okay, and then there was also this anger because the Five of Pentacles is here. There's this anger because Henry kind of just ghosted her. He stopped talking to her. Because we go to 5, 6, 7, and I think he pretended like everything was good to her face when she confronted him to speak. He wouldn't speak to her about it. He pretended like everything was good. So she really had no screaming. So where they kept her in the jail, because I see bricks, and I see her down, and she's on her knees. She is screaming. And I mean, this is before she was beheaded, okay? Because she's not talking. She's just talking about the anger, the hurt, like everything. Because it's coming on to me very strong. The the disbelief that she, and then part of her thought, Henry VIII is crazy. He's absolutely mad. I feel like there was some rumors that he was called a little bit crazy, when she started, when they were together. I feel like there was a rumor. I feel like people were saying that, and she actually defended him and tried to hide it or helped that part of Henry be hidden. And so there is this like, and that's where they had that trust, where they respected each other. She actually, but deep down, she kind of knew he was losing control. So I'm not sure if this has to do, because I do think this has to do with his health. But there is a sense that a lot of what he did was not conscious. It's like he was just out of his mind, crazy. um, and that's what she's telling me. He was crazy. And maybe there's like, I feel like bipolar disorder, because she's saying he would say one thing and then he would overreact and, go too far. She also mentions the fact that he killed a lot of people. So, yeah, like 3,500 people were beheaded and hung because of King Henry. So this was a spree he was on. I don't think this was, but because he had heard what he heard, he decided to take it out on Anne. Sadly. He also didn't know who he could trust, but she felt like him and her should have been past that. So you guys, when I say she is confused, she is hurt. She may not go. She's going to come back later tonight. I already feel it. So this is maybe the queen that I was feeling earlier. My sister and me, we had to do a protection because you never know with these spirits. They're still haunting. She's still haunted. She's haunted by what happened. She's sad because there's a happiness here because of her child. She thinks about the legacy she left behind. There's also a happiness there because something major changed where he could no longer, like a reform, where King Henry could not, and you guys might need to look this up, but she's telling me this. He could not just behead anyone. There was something that changed after her death there. I mean, he could do what he wanted. He was the king, but he would have to go through certain channels. Does that make sense? To get things done. Which is the way it was, but usually, I mean, honestly, at the time where she was sentenced, whatever the king said went, okay? Nobody could really say anything or object, okay? Because if they did, they would be beheaded, okay? It was considered treason. So, okay, let me go back to her message. Love yourself first. Okay, love yourself first. This is obviously towards anyone, but I feel like she's saying ladies more for the because she's not saying lady. Yeah, ladies, young ladies. She keeps saying ladies. She doesn't say girls. She doesn't say women. She says ladies. Love yourself first. Communicate what you need to communicate. That is what she's saying. The one thing she does not regret is that she did voice her views, not to just King Henry VIII. She did it to other people, and that's why she became a threat. Okay? That's why she was eliminated. Now, and people got jealous because they felt like, wow, the king actually listens to this girl. She's a huge threat. A lot of what Elizabeth is due to her, okay? They both have that, because if Anne could have lived, she would have went very far, okay? I don't want to be all like rude to King Henry or disrespect his energy, but I feel like she could have took over his kingdom if she would have lived here. And that's really what it was. I don't feel like it was like, oh, she couldn't have any more kids. A lot of what they're saying, I feel like he just said that to, make people think that was what it was, but I really feel like there was some jealousy here. Extreme jealousy. She was a very, very smart woman, okay? And that's what we're gonna leave it at. But you can receive that abundance here. And in her mind, she did get that abundance because karma, okay? It's not a coincidence that Elizabeth became queen. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that she ended up so successful here. Because that was Anne's role. So that was karma. That was karma coming back into play. That is why Queen Elizabeth, she was not guilty of what they charged her with, okay? Why she ended up beheaded. Oh my gosh, that poor babe. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? I know she's one of the biggest queens here. Yeah. You better get on my cord. That was a lot. I'm sorry that was crazy. You said he is crazy?
Yeah.
Thomas Cromwell. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't even know if it was. Hi, Ravi. All right, let's move forward. Woo! We're going to calm down from that energy. Maya. Edgar Allan Poe. That would be cool. Go show Auntie remote. Go give Auntie remote.
No.
Because she's watching TV. Yeah. I'm going to let Anne's energy kind of calm down. Back away. Disconnect. You know, the funny thing is, and someone had asked me, how does this work for you? And you guys, no, I'm not 100%. Maya, stop. When I connect to past history, historical figures, I'm not 100%. But what it is I channel them. I channel them. So, and when it comes to channeling, you can pull back. You can go forward more. Of course, I now, know there's limits. There is limits. You have to respect your boundaries. You have, because they won't respect your boundaries. So I feel like, yes, I could have got more, but I want to pull back from that. But I feel like what I got is kind of what I really, before I even start. Maya, stops. No. Before I even started, the really happened with that. Okay, so I think I got the answers that I was seeking. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm going to go get me my water, and then I'm going to come back. And the next queen we're focusing on, which I feel like maybe not that many people will know about her. She was not significant in history, so to speak, but this was she was King Henry VIII's true love here. So we're going to look at Jane Seymour next, okay? Bye. Mom? Yes, this is Mom. But no, go. I'm doing a... What? No, I'm doing an important reading. Okay. Sorry, you guys. All right, Jane Seymour. Already, I feel like so drained. I don't know why. All right, you guys, let's look at Jane Seymour's energy and her connection to the king here. I just want to point out she did have a son with King Henry. Okay. She did have a son with King Henry. King Henry really loved her. They were very connected. He really loved this girl, okay? Let's just start there because, you know, I said that in the beginning, but he really loved her, okay? Let's see if she comes up because I'm having... Okay, she's here. Hello. All right, Jane. Can we know about Jane's... What? That's from Jane, okay. Aww. Okay. And I had a feeling it's not going to be very much with her. As we all know, she died by tragic circumstances. And she's not coming up as much as King Henry is coming up here. Okay? But I'm going to read the cards of what it was like for her, because what I'm seeing here is this all happened very quickly for her. As far as him, now I do hear deception, so I wonder, I think Jane may have moved in before Anne Boleyn passed away. I feel like there was some deception, and that's the deception coming up very strongly. I do feel like, did she love him? I just want to ask this one question. I want to see if she loved him, because something feels weird about this energy. Oh. I don't know why, but unrequited love came up. Okay. I don't think Jane Seymour loved him. I would have thought that she did, right? She didn't love him either. All right, what am I getting here? She was just a very... loyal person. Well, okay, yeah, I do feel like she was loyal, but I feel like she had somebody else before the king approached her. And because he was the king, you can't say no to the king, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so I don't think she loved the king in the way that, of course, her death comes up in these cards. Everyone's death keeps coming up in these cards. I didn't plan it that way. Their death keeps coming up. All right, so I do feel like this is the Knight of Swords. I do feel like it happened very quickly. She was approached. Like I said, I feel like she had somebody before the king approached her. I do think that the King Henry offered her, you know, he really loved Jane Seymour. He really loved her. But this tore him up. The Emperor reverse. I feel like he was trying to really please her. I feel like for some reason she was the only girl that didn't really fall for all the, you know... I know that, but I don't feel like she fell for the whole like, ooh, you're the king thing, you know, like that didn't excite her. She was more passionate. She was more about love here. Now this Emperor reverse does have to do with her death after the fact that, you know, after she passed away. King Henry Because she was a good woman, okay? That's what I'm going to say. She was a good woman. She was loyal. She embodied something that King Henry had not seen in the other queens or women that he was involved with here. Um, she gave him a son because I hear my son, because I think the son died as well. Okay, so abundance and wait. So this is about the fact that she had to wait, even though he was pursuing Jane Seymour. He did have she had to wait before she could marry him. And I know this has to do with Anne Boleyn, okay? Anne Boleyn being out of it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something that makes this all so interesting. And it's coming up, and I don't know why. If this is on Anne Boleyn's side, I don't know. But there's something here about before Anne Boleyn was put to death, okay, before she was beheaded, she did make it where King Henry had to still respect her title. Does that make sense? So even though they were done, obviously, he had to, her title still remained in place. Does that make sense? Anne Boleyn's. So her family would be obviously moved out. I feel like they were moved out of the castle and everything, but they didn't lose. Like King Henry had to arrange a place for them. They all had, they were all taken care of after Anne's death. And that was Anne's way of kind of not fighting the charges. I feel like fighting against because I do feel like she did try to put up a fight here. And she wasn't guilty, so rightfully, but she finally agreed to just let it go. Only if her title remained intact in place there, okay? After her death. Okay, now why this is interesting is because even though Henry wanted to move Jane Seymour in to the title of queen, which obviously she did become queen, it couldn't be done. Like for some reason, it's like Jane Seymour's son would have eventually became illegitimate to the throne, whether he would have died or not, because I feel like he did die. But let's say if King Henry VIII would have died, Jane Seymour and her children would have still had a place, okay, obviously, because she was the queen, or she would have been that ruling queen at the time. But Anne, and I'm trying to explain this the best of my ability, I'm sucking at this, I know, but Anne's title would have remained intact too, meaning Anne's children still had right to the throne. Does that make sense? And since Anne was the queen before Jane, that means her children would have the right to rule the throne before Jane's. Does that make sense? Now there is this feeling of I'm not sure why this would even come up between her and Henry, but I got you deserve love and unrequited love. Like I said, I feel like when people were, Jane was one of the people that kind of egged on the ending of Anne Boleyn here. Okay, if that makes sense. She was one of the people. Why? Because she made it seem like, and Henry felt like Anne did not love him, which is true. She did not love him. But where it's not fair is even though even though Anne did not love Henry, she respected Henry, okay? But that's not how Henry saw it, due to the fact that he had a lot of people in his ear, okay? And I mean, when I say a lot of people, he had a lot of people in his ear. And Jane sadly was one of those people, which honestly, I don't know why the hell he would even listen to another female that's a maid in waiting to a queen, but he did, okay? Her big thing here is she's not a bad person at all, you guys. I don't think any of them were good, okay, in living, but their spirit, speaking on their soul level, I don't feel like Seymour was a bad. I think she was a lover. I think she was just a nurturer. Period. And her whole encouragement, okay, because this is what she used to say to Henry, and I think that's why Henry loved her. And then he saw this innocence in her. So when it comes to love, when it comes to life, when it comes to happiness, all that matters is you let yourself feel your emotions. You allow your passion to remain intact, even though, you have to do what you have to. But at the end of the day, I think Jane was a symbolism for King Henry. Like, she symbolized that spiritual path that he wanted to be in and be on, because he really did believe in love, okay? He was like a very passionate person, obviously, because he had 6 queens, damn. But I think she made him feel like you can find love, and she made him not want to give up on that, okay? And I feel like with this, she's saying to not ever give up on love, even though that's so easy in today's world, right? Or that's just easy in life, period, okay? And that's what out of Henry, and that's why Henry really loved her, okay? She brought a softer side out of him that honestly, I think at that time in his life, especially of where he was at and what he was doing with all these beheadings, and he needed that, okay? Even though he was going crazy, he needed that peace, okay? So she was his peace, okay? But if you've ever heard this saying, because I want to say this saying for some reason, ladies, be a man's peace, not his headache. I feel like she was literally his peace here. Now, when she died, he kind of lost it. Again, he went right back to that dark, and I can't even explain. And that's why I need to do, Maya, stop it. That's why I need to do a reading on King Henry, because I feel like that's a lot more revealing of him, to get more inside of his energy. But he lost control again. He went crazy. He went mad again after Jane Seymour passed away. Stop. Now, a little bit of here, I'm hearing move forward to the next queen, because that's where the next queen comes in. So Jane Seymour, even though this is the love of his life, this is who he demanded he be buried with, okay? Like, that was something he said needed to happen here. Now, the next one is Anna Cleves. Anna Cleves was King Henry's wife, but, okay, and we're going to keep this card here. Oh, Maya. Okay, Cameron, can you get Maya and you guys get out now? Because you're making a lot of noise. Get her and get out. Go play in the other room. Go play in the room, your room. Anna Cleves. Okay, so the reason I'm keeping... Okay, Maya. Get out now. bottom. Go get your brothers. You're pulling on my hair. Thank you. Okay, the reason I kept the Emperor reversed is because that's where we're moving into the new queen. Anne of Cleves. Okay, so why Anne of Cleves was so significant. For him, why she came into the picture. Because really everyone thinks, okay, King Henry, you know, oh, he had all these wives. And first of all, he didn't even want to get married. Okay, again, after Jane Seymour. But he kind of was pushed by the church. Okay, there's something with the church. They were like, you need to be married. This is a symbolism of this. This symbolizes that. Okay. And not only that, there was a sense that he had lost control again, okay? Like emotionally unstable, you know, I feel like depressed a lot after Jane Seymour. And that could have been due to like the major breakdown. Like, let's think about it. He's lost Catherine of Aragon at this point. He's lost Anne Boleyn and now Jane Seymour. So at the end of the day where people are like, oh my God, he was just so crazy heartless. I don't feel like he was that heartless. Man, I do feel like it all weighed on him heavy, okay? And I guess rightfully, you know, when you're killing your wives, when you're, you know, kicking them off, kicking them out of your, you know, off their throne, what do you expect? You're going to have to get karma for that here. So that's part of the reason why he went crazy too. I do think that was his karma for the way that he handled his wives, okay? Because it just feels like there could have been a better way for him to have done this. And he knows that, okay? He knew that then. Okay, so when he got with Anne of Cleves, it was because he was not attracted to her. He felt like she was just very sisterly. But the good news is she helped him realize, I feel like she kind of woke him up. I feel like they have a lot of conversations. They never, okay, and this is important for some reason to be said here for both of them. And I don't know why, but Anne of Cleves, he seems to connect with her a lot more. So I have him here and I have her here too. So Anne of Cleves was just like the sister that he's never had. For some reason, it's like she brought out this strength in him, okay, this courage to look at things and face things in the way that he needed to, okay, to be more balanced, to be more right, and, you know, about certain situations and things that had happened, okay? I do think that he had his moment to speak to Anne and get a lot of that off his shoulders here. They never consummated the marriage here. Never. Never. And I do believe that they tried to give it a chance, but there was no connection there. And I think Anne was more of a teacher for him spiritually. Not just spiritually, but also like as far as like politics, war, fighting, you know, everything, love. She kind of helped bring him that justice he needed at that time to get his balance back. Okay, so where he is the emperor reverse when he met her, you know, he gets that balance back. He starts to feel positive again. Okay, so really good. And when I say really good friends, I don't mean no sex at all, okay? Because I always wondered about that, so that's probably why that came out. But they became really, really good friends here. Really good friends. And she was a confidant. You know, he could go to her about anything. He took care of her as well. I do feel like she helped take care of a few of his children. because she couldn't have children, or there's something going on. If she did, I don't know. There was some issues with her having children. Maybe she had one. I don't feel like that, but I don't know if she even, I don't think she ever got married, you guys, because I'm really getting with her the Nine of Pentacles, where she just kind of, she was a nurturer, but I feel like spiritually she's very coming up independent. So if she did have a husband or children, I would be very shocked. But I feel like there's a sense that she kind of served Henry, in a sense like that she became a very close confidant for him, and you know, he would go to her for advice or guidance, okay? So they did have a soul connection, but it wasn't like a love connection here. Now, I do feel like they were waiting to see what could happen. There was this period of like, could I like her? Could I like him? And it just never happened for them. They never clicked that way. Okay. They do have the retreat card. It's time to disconnect from the world. Remain positive and love life. This is telling me that, you know, them talking, their conversations, whatever was said, these were deep conversations. He could tell this woman anything, and she had no judgment, and she came at him in a way that was very spiritual and very, she spoke that justice for him, you know? She spoke right to him because, and I do feel like she was honest with him, you guys. So when he was wrong, she did point out when he was wrong. She did direct what he should do to, you know, clear his soul, clean his soul, you know, get things off his chest here. But mostly I see where there was love, but it's just more brotherly and sisterly. That's all that's coming up. What would she say? I feel like it would be the same that she would tell anyone. Always keep balance, always remain, you know, there's something with the justice card. I keep getting, yeah, be honest with yourself. Okay. All right. Yeah, and I think she did have an opportunity to go further, you know, but the real her being a very honest person, she saw this opportunity as a time for her to just, yeah, she was very honest, and she told him, I don't have those feelings for you. And and it was a mutual feeling, okay? Like, I have feelings for you, but not like that. And here I feel like she is saying, you guys, you know, about the positive message here. The very strong message is to be honest with yourself, your wrongdoings, the things that you feel like are so hard for you to accept. You know, your mistakes, your regrets. It's like once you accept them, you are able to accept yourself and move forward. Okay. And I do feel like this is a discussion that her and Henry had multiple times, where she would tell him, own what you decided to do. You're the king, you have to own it. But whether you're a king or whoever you are, we all make decisions, okay? And sometimes, yes, life makes us feel like we have lost our control, or we just don't feel good about ourselves, right? And the decisions we've made. But if we don't be honest and we keep pretending like we're someone that we're not, or we keep pretending like we didn't do this stuff, we don't learn from it. You know what I mean? And so therefore, I just feel like she's saying, be honest with the things that you do. Be honest with who you are. That way you can have a clean conscience and you can have no regrets here. No regrets. Self-love. A lot of self-love that she represents for not just Henry, but I feel like you know, the message here, self-love. Be honest with yourself. Whew. Now we're going to do, we're moving on. This is the fourth queen. No, fifth queen. Catherine Howard here. Okay, and as you guys know, this queen, she was the one that was the youngest. She was a cousin to Anne Boleyn. I'm not sure if I'm going right here in the right order. So I think this is the right order that they... Well, I did this earlier, as you know. Okay, so you guys, let's talk about Catherine Howard from the very jump. The devil here. Toxic. Well, there's her whole story. Well, hello, Catherine. This baby. Okay. Huh. So, this is the second wife. He only had 2 wives, I hear, that got beheaded. This is the second one who got beheaded. This was the cousin of Anne Boleyn here. Man, Henry couldn't stay away from those damn Boleyn cousins and sisters, could he? He could not. Okay, so let's talk about her. Even though she did become queen, I feel like she was so young, you guys, that she didn't even understand what she was getting into here. I do think that she definitely, he beheaded Catherine Howard, yes. Catherine Howard is the second wife who was beheaded, okay? And she was like the second cousin, maybe even more. I feel like second cousin of Anne Boleyn, okay? She was the cousin of Anne Boleyn. I know that's crazy, but she was related to her, okay? Now, this comes up not so much on her end, but yes, on both ends. Okay, so I think she kind of did not realize what she was getting her head, what she was getting into. When she got with King Henry, in her mind, she was like, this girl was like 14, you guys, 16, maybe even 13. She was a little girl. And I don't think she realized what it entailed to be a queen or what that took, okay? I feel like people explained it to her, but she just did not have a queen's mind, okay? I do feel like this is saying 2 of Wands here. She wanted to move forward, okay? There was a point, yes, she wanted to leave Henry or, get out of the toxicity because she felt very controlled. Almost like she felt like she was in prison by this marriage here. With the 4 of Pentacles here, you guys, even though she felt trapped, okay, like a little bit of entrapment, she still wanted to be queen. She liked the title, but at the same time, she really wanted freedom here. But it don't work like that. So here she shows up as the Queen of Wands. This is a queen who wanted what she wanted, and for some reason I feel like it became to Henry's attention that she kind of, I do believe she was too. I do believe that this was the queen who actually did cheat on Henry. I feel like, and it could have been with someone she already knew. Like, this is someone she wanted. So I do feel like she was juggling. She was cheating on Henry. Okay? Now, in the end of it all, she ends up beheaded. Okay? So that's a very short story. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was his brother. Let go of that throne, that title. She liked being the queen. But at the same time, she didn't like being stuck with Henry. Okay, and maybe this took a while for her to get to that point. I'm really not sure. I'm not sensing any love, but I do feel like she kind of just wanted the title. She was so young. Yeah, and her situation, this honestly made her situation worse, you guys. That she just did not get it. She did not get what she was doing. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't get that she was wrong. I'm saying she just didn't understand, like, you can't be a queen and be a little girl, okay? Literally, and when I say little girl, I mean you cannot be queen and think that you're going to have your cake and eat it too. She was better off not marrying Henry here. I do feel like someone tried to, and this is beyond Henry having her beheaded. I do feel like someone tried to tell her to chill out. I feel like she was confronted about this behind, and I feel like this was before Henry even knew how she was. I feel like someone warned her about this, okay? And she didn't listen, okay? So she went into this being deceptive and thinking that, oh, well, I'm going to improve my family name. And I do feel a little bit of a sense of like she was very braggy and she could have been one queen bee, okay? And I mean like outright, she was a bitch, okay? About things, but I think what people are saying is bitchy was more like her not understanding truly. Like, I feel like she told people, yes, I get it, I get it, I get it, I know. But she really did not understand, you guys. And that's really what I'm getting. There's nothing that she could even give as as advice here. Because I feel like she was so young that she's still trying to figure it out. That's what Spirit's telling me. I don't know, and I'm not going to get into all that. We're going to back away from that conversation. But God bless her soul. That's what I'm going to say. God bless her soul. She has no advice. No advice. And I'm not going to say more about that. You guys just know someone did warn her what she was getting herself into. And plain and simple, she was cheating on Henry and got caught. But Henry, I don't know what she was thinking because it didn't take long for him to find out, okay? And I do feel like as I'm shuffling the cards that it took her a while. Like, she would stop having sex with him. She would be really bitchy. Okay, so that's also another reason she didn't hide that. She didn't hide it. Okay, so that was the problem. She didn't care who knew. She just did what she wanted. She thought that she could do that. Whoosh, this girl, Catherine Howard. But, well, how old was she when she was made queen. I feel like I don't feel like she was 1920. I don't feel like she was 1920. I feel like she was a young girl. But you also have to be careful what you read online because sometimes it's not always true. I don't feel like she was 1920, you guys. If she was the dumbest 19-20-year-old that I've ever picked up energetically, which normally, no, the energy is not the same for everyone. But you know how you can kind of feel, you can kind of sense when someone is not even, if she's not the age I said, 16, 13, 14, she, well, she was cousins with Anne Boleyn, so yeah. She was a younger cousin. So, and I do, yeah, because she brings up Anne. And I feel like there was a little bit of a excitement for her in that, like, oh, she's my cousin, and now I got the king, you know, like, oh. Whew, girl. Let's talk about Catherine Parr. Last but not least, his sixth wife, Catherine Parr. Now, understand that when it comes to being beheaded, they sometimes are held in prison for a long time before they behead them, okay? Because you remember I told you guys after the Anne Boleyn incident, they kind of had to do this reform where it would be, you know, it would go through the church, it would go through people, different channels, execution to go through. So I do feel like that's why if she could have been 1920 when she got beheaded, or it could have took a while for her to get her beheading, a lot longer than Anne Boleyn. And Anne Boleyn's took a while, but hers took a lot longer because of the reform. The reform. I keep saying reform. I don't know what a reform is. I don't know history that well. Catherine of Parr. I just heard that she was known, and maybe someone can validate this for me. She was known as the queen, the quiet queen or something. That's what I just heard, the quiet. But not literally like she's quiet. She was was she the oldest? She could have been the oldest of King Henry's wives. But she was most certainly the one there on King Henry's death, okay? At his death. Well, yeah, she was the one that was there when he died. Now, let's not say she got everything because I feel like there was some issues with pregnancy. She could have lost a few pregnancies. There was some trouble with getting pregnant here. And that kind of caused some issues for Henry with her. I don't know why, because he already had a... But I feel like Henry was on a goal to get as many sons as he possibly could. The more sons he had, the more like he could keep his family, his legacy and power here. Okay, and he was right about that, but funny enough, it didn't end up being a son, did it? And that's why Anne Boleyn is such a big deal, because of Queen Elizabeth. The representation of, that's when that all changed, where they allowed Elizabeth to be queen. And queens were allowed to rule their own kingdom due to Queen Elizabeth here. Now, also, it's not a coincidence because I feel like it was harder. There was more females there's more females on the planet than males. And I feel like, Ooh, okay. There's more females, so it was harder for them to have male children back then. Okay. I don't know why, because when I had kids, uh, I had two sons right away. But not all women had. I mean, it was different times. Okay, so it was a lot harder. Yes, yes, I'm pretty sure. Jenny said, "No, I shouldn't have said that. That was a stupid comment. Y'all don't talk about me like that." Okay. I'm just saying. Like, man, I could have been the queen bee back then, okay? Just put me in the thing. I can have as many sons as you want. Just kidding. Um I do see that there was a lot of chaos in the castle at this time due to the fact that King Henry VIII was really sick. Okay. I do think, yes, they had their wedding. That's what made her legitimate. I think, yes, I do think that there is a little bit of his line, but the little bit of his line that is left, it's obviously still I don't feel like it's in England. I feel like it's, you know, yes, there's most certainly the royal family on his side. There is still some some people alive. I don't feel like it's like as many as you would assume, but it's quite a bit. Now, also you have to understand it's probably mostly women. Okay. It's probably mostly females. There might be one male. It's really easy for me to connect to that stuff. But I feel like whew, they don't have very luck with having kids. Or there's something with fertility. There's a lot of health concerns in that family line, the genetics there. So keep that in mind when you're thinking, okay, does he have a lot left? I don't feel like it because there was, yeah, a lot of complications with their genetics, okay, as far as health and fertility, okay. Now let's move forward. But I mean, that's not. I mean, it's not as bad probably. But yeah, I don't even have any other comments about that. um, when it comes to Catherine of Parr, her father comes up right now too. Her father, her love for her father. I feel like there was a respect for Henry because he was a father. And I feel like she took in the place of taking care of his son that he had with Jane Seymour. Not just Jane Seymour's child, all of Henry's children. She played the mother role for his children. Why? Because I don't know if she had infertility issues. I do feel like there was some issues with complications with trying to have children. She could have lost a few children as well. I do feel like because of Henry's death, she mourned that a lot. Oh, she could have had a child. Okay. She mourned Henry's death a lot. There is this sense that she wanted more abundance. She wanted that to go further. And it just was cut off due to the fact of Henry getting really sick here. I feel like this, and she keeps pointing this out. Family was everything for her. And this is why her father keeps coming up. So I don't know what her significance, and maybe I'm gonna look some of this stuff up because I want to know. Her father was a significant person for her, you guys. Now when it came to Henry's health, there was a period where they thought, okay, And I'm sitting in as her. She's not coming through in the way that I want. I feel like I'm like going through the motions of finding out how sick Henry was. I think, yeah, in his 40s. Um, there was praying, a lot of praying I see she did, that she wanted him to get well. I feel like for a while there was this whole, oh, he's going to get better. I do think he walked and he was trying, but he didn't. And it didn't get better. And by that, it kind of cut her here, because at the end of the day, I feel like for this, Catherine of Parr actually did love Henry too. And even though this happened, that she lost Henry, and she did end up living a very prosperous life, a happy life, an abundant life, regardless. But it's still like she had to, because all that happened. Oh, and yeah, she was left everything. She did take over the throne. I think she did take over a lot, not over the throne, but she took over as soon as Henry did pass away. Now, here's the crazy thing. I don't feel like people knew Henry passed away. I feel like she was one of the first people that found out. Not very first, but I feel like she was like second, third, fourth. And I feel like this went on for about 6 months, that this woman was running England as Henry, okay? Because of that, she ended up being very prosperous. There's just a lot that she had learned in this time period. Now, she has no regret on that. The only thing she does regret is the fact that Henry died and that their marriage was so short-lived, okay? Um, if there is a message, I think it's about having prosperity, and you know, things that seem tragic can actually turn out to be a blessing. And I feel like that is kind of her message here. Um, as long as you remain supportive of the ones around you, you will receive that prosperity you deserve out of life, okay? Where things are not so good just due to like someone dying or bad things happening, does not mean that things will not turn out in your favor here. Um, because I do feel like there was a little bit of fear that she was done. Once Henry died, I feel like she was like, oh my God, it gets out and this is the end for me. But she saw very quickly that she gained a lot of respect. Yes, she did better than what Henry left her, okay? Because Henry left her a place to live, and she was in power or in control of his children, or his family dynamic, all of that. But I feel like she went above and beyond that, because she showed such strength, such courage, and she also showed that a woman can rule. And see, this was the turn of events as well. This plays a kind of, and people don't even realize that this little bit of part of Catherine of Parr did play a little bit into that, where no one wanted a woman to rule, where Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of Scots, is it the Queen of Scots? Scotland? Is it Scotland? I need to look it up. I think there was a Queen of Spain too. Okay, so yeah, that played a little bit of part of showing men that women could be in power, that they could rule as well. So that part, Catherine is also a huge part of that, along with other women, okay? Whew, very tired. Sorry, guys. I'm not really getting anything else on her end. So, all All right. Okay, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm
Bye-bye.
sure that this reading was very educational for a lot of you. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like. We'll do more historical people reading their energy. I will do this again. I obviously do want to do sorry, that like flashed really weird. I do want to look into, you know, some civil rights leaders, obviously, being the fact that I am Black and, you know. But I want to look at more interesting. So if anyone has any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. And I will look into, you know, other historical events and people. Now,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. The next reading that I okay. The next reading I want to focus on is on the young girl, and this would be of today. Why can't I think of her name? But I am going to look at people who have ended up missing. Now, John Benet Ramsey, because I know people are like, hey, can you do one on John Benet? Everyone does one on John Benet. But there's something that when I try to connect to that energy, I don't really like it. I don't really like it. It makes me nervous. It's such a dark energy. I'm still surrounded about that case, and it's still living today because everyone still wants to know about it and talks about it, and it's kind of like giving that. So, okay, yeah, if there's anyone that you guys wonder about, any, you know, disappearances, anything that's big, I know there's one, and I will put the girl's name up in the comments. So you guys can go back and you can check it out on who. I'm going to do a reading on her for sure. The Kanika Jenkins, I think I will, only because I followed that a little bit. But anyone, I mean, if you guys can think of anyone, and also historical. Yes, will we continue doing celebrities? So I backed away from celebrities a little bit, but I also think, like, you know, every now and then it would be good to do them, to get the messages from them, because they you know, most of the times when I do celebrities, like I said before to you guys, is when I do them, I do always get like a awesome, cool message from doing a reading, you know. With celebrities. So yes, we will continue doing them all. But all right, I love you guys, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed this reading. That is King Henry VIII and his 6 wives. Yes, we will look at King Henry VIII's energy and kind of pick up on that, but it's gonna be a lot. I feel like we're going into an hour on one man. Okay, so I want to prepare myself. Look it up, Sarah Ann Wood. Okay, I will do that. All right, you guys, I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.